fight night in Las Vegas. Where else would you rather be?
Blast that front kick.
He finishes this. He's over the top of the head of Gibson. Picture perfect. Steps over. We've seen guys like Joe St. Pierre finish this.
Mike, spinning capoeira kick, which we have seen.
He sends him down.
Basically applying his brain as opposed to just work. Now he's trying to train smarter. He's switched on more and he's only getting better.
The only thing he did wrong, he forgot his cup. So that's what we're talking about right now.
You said it, not me. And that's the cornerman. Yeah, on that one. That's the cornerman that needs to take to that one. That's their job. The same pace. Nobody's outpacing each other.
Larry Nixon in between rounds.
There's a little shot. I heard him there.
That's the big shot so far. And again.
Police are lead
Big trouble.
Victoria getting out of there.
responding.
You know, I deserve top 5 fight, 100%. It's a Whittaker or a Desania. Let's go, just give me day.
Kia ora e te iwi and welcome on into UFC on Sky. Koravinda Hunia Tōku Ingoa back on the couch this week. UFC lightweight Dan Hooker. Kia ora, welcome home.
I'm back, baby. Why do I always have to say that?
I know.
I just continually have to be like, and I'm still here, man.
Hiding behind the couch. Give us a little update on the hand. We saw you were at the physio, I think it was, getting some work done on it.
No, it's good as gold. Like checking, that's what's that? 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. 2 weeks from post-surgery, casters off. It's just getting the swelling out of it and getting like the movement back to it. But pretty much like once that's like it's really the amount of people that are like, oh, you need to, that's pretty much like you get 1,000 messages, people calling you a pussy, another 1,000 messages saying that your career is over, and it's like, chill, champ, been here before. And it's like, it's really not that bad of a break. Like once you clear that, and I get the movement back in my hand, like I'm probably realistically like 4 or 5 weeks off being back to punching and full training.
Nice. Now, I don't know if you caught yesterday, but I did a little appearance on ESPN.
Oh, I saw you out there.
Thank you. Toot toot. But no, they were asking me about you too. They wanted to know how you were getting on with the injury. That sometimes physically is one thing, but mentally going through an injury is something else. Yeah,
well, that's like the beauty of having so many losses and injuries in my career. And it's like part and parcel of the sport is that you develop like very good mental processes of being able to correct the ship and bounce back from it and not getting like stuck in that too long. It's like the same thing every time, like fans turn on your sponsors all start dipping out, like it's
you'll be back.
But it's something I've dealt with a million times before. And then as soon as you like start hitting things again, people are like, oh, how did he get through that? And it's like, well, I've been here before, mate.
Yeah.
The ship's been sinking for about 15 years.
Holes in there. It's all catching up.
I just keep on scooping, baby.
Got good buckets.
Got good buckets.
To scoop it all back out. Look, at the top of the show, we saw a highlight reel of the UFC fight night from the Apex at the weekend. Marvin Vettori, Roman Dolidze were in the main event, and Vettori came out and forgot his cup. So there was a bit of a delay.
If you forgetting your cup is the talking point of the fight night, like that really demonstrates to me how exciting your fight was, my friend. But I've seen that guys forget their mouth guard, their cup, and
I was going to ask you, have you ever forgotten something?
Nah, but I'm not an idiot. Come on, this is the guy that put his shorts on backwards. You know what I mean? Like, he's obviously not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm not shocked that he forgot his cup.
But we're turning our attention to this fight night this weekend, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. And of course, your teammate, UFC light heavyweight Carlos Ulberg, is in action against Jan Blachowicz. I really want to get your thoughts on this because this is Carlos's biggest fight to date.
Yeah, Carlos, this is a huge step up. Like, Jan is an absolute weapon. Power on the feet, very defensively sound. Like, he's a really hard guy to hit, manages his distance well. Hits very hard and incredibly well-rounded. I think he's the most well-rounded guy that Carlos has been in there with. Like, he can strike on the feet. He is patient. He's not going to panic and kind of blitz in like guys have made the mistake with Carlos in the past. But yeah, he is that that triple threat where he can hold you against the cage. He can get you down and lay on top. We saw him bring his wrestling out when he fought our teammate Israel Adesanya. So, man, Carlos is really going to have to bring it all. And it's a tall task as well, flying to the other side of the world, to London. I know Carlos went like a little bit earlier. Which, yeah, he asked me and I said, yeah, go. Because about one leg, it's flying to the other side of the world, like, was completely jet lagged for an entire week. So, yeah, it is a tall test for Carlos this week, but obviously huge implications. Carlos gets his hand raised this weekend. It looks like he'll be fighting for the title. Obviously, at the top of that light heavyweight division, we obviously had Ankalaev get the victory over Alex Pereira. Now, if Jan wins, I think we all remember the first fight, Ankalaev and Jan, and paint drying was far more exciting that day than that actual fight. So I don't feel like even if Jan wins, that the UFC will want to make that title fight happen.
Absolutely. Let's bring up our head-to-head of Carlos and Jan. I agree with you in terms of what Carlos can bring to this top, well, he's in the top 6 already, but in the top 5 of the light heavyweight division. We're seeing, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska, all these same fighters kind of going around and around. But Carlos Ulberg injects something new and exciting. He's on a 7-fight winning streak. How well do you think he positioned himself on that winning streak in terms of, his capability and growth through the UFC to now be fighting someone like Jan?
Yeah, smart. He's a fighter that has not taken a lot of damage. He's had a couple of really tough tests inside of the UFC, but he's a fighter that's picked. And that's down to the coaching team and the management side of things, where he's not just taking silly fights. Like, he's been like myself. Like, he's gone out there and he's done an incredible job with his career, and he's chosen his fights, and kind of the stars have really aligned up. And he's finally got to the point now where it's like the smart decision making is out of the window. Now you're really going to have to beat an incredibly tough fighter.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is a very exciting prospect indeed. Now, I did get to speak with Carlos Ulberg. Of course, the time difference from New Zealand to London is astronomical, so I spoke to Carlos in the wee hours, but here is what he had to say ahead of this giant fight against Jan Blachowicz. Well, joining me now is New Zealand UFC light heavyweight Carlos Ulberg. Kia ora, Carlos, and how is it going in London?
Kia ora, yeah, good. London it's cold right now, coming from a beautiful summer that we've never had, haven't had in such a long time in New Zealand summer. But yeah, it's cold, but it's beautiful. I love it. It's a big city. I can see why a lot of people from all over Europe have congregated to this amazing city. So we're loving it, and collectively as a team, we're just we're enjoying it. We're enjoying each other's company. We're enjoying the fact that we're on the other side of the world with each other.
Traveling around the world is no, strange thing for you, but, London is one of those places you haven't been yet. Considering those places you have been to, how does London compare? It's
very eye-opening. And a lot of people, I feel like, went for a walk out to the city a few nights actually, and it just felt like everyone is out at 4 p.m. having beers and at the pub and just enjoying living. It's cold, but they're out, and everyone dresses really well here. So I think I'm gonna have to pick up my game and order a trench coat while I'm here. So.
Well, nice one. It's good to know that you've settled in. Obviously, you went over there. You've been over there for a little while now. So talk to us about what you hoped to achieve with this time that you've had over in London so far.
All the hard work's done. we've done what we needed to do back home. I'm glad that we come a little early just to acclimatize and get used to our sleep patterns. My sleep pattern is finally on par now to my normal routines back home. So I feel like I finally got the gist of it now of my sleeping pattern. So last night was probably my best sleep in a long time. So I feel like we've done all the hard work. The team's over here now, and we're just fine tuning some things. And then also we've got the weight cut and the obligations that we need to go through fight week. Everybody loves fight week. It's time where we kind of just need to fine tune the small things and just highlight a few things that we need to go through.
Talk to us a little bit about that hard work. Obviously, you've been in camp for a while, but I like to look back even further than that. You're on this, tear of fights at the moment. You haven't dropped a fight in a little while. How has that and this preparation best served for you coming up against, which is arguably the biggest fight of your UFC career?
Massively. It's built a lot of confidence for sure, and it's given me good momentum to move forward. And I feel like that's what you need is good momentum, good push, so that you can have confidence in yourself. And I feel like I have that. And come this Saturday, I feel like all the hard work's done, and coming off a 7-win fight streak is going to give me more push to get this job done come Saturday night.
Talk to us a little bit about Jan Blachowicz, obviously ranked number 4, former light heavyweight champion. What do you make of him, and what do you expect to be facing in the octagon come Sunday?
Yeah, he's a very well experienced fighter, established veteran in the game. So he's going to come with experience, very good stand-up game, very good wrestling and grappling games. So we just need to make sure we go in there and finish the job.
When I was talking about those wins that you've had too, when it feels like whatever fighters have been throwing at you, you've been able to adapt to what is absolutely in front of you. The rushing of Alonzo Minifield up against the patience that you showed against Oezdemir. What kind of style do you expect Jan to bring? Do you expect that patient style, perhaps what you saw up against Oezdemir?
Who knows? I've not really thought too much into that. I've kind of just focused on what I need to do in there, and that's what's got me through this far, and that's all we're focused on. So come Saturday night, we're just focused on getting the win.
We're rooting for you down here in New Zealand and Australia. The region is absolutely behind you, and after this, the anticipation is that success here means title talks for you. Do you agree with that?
100%. Yep. A win over Jan Blachowicz will definitely put me in title contention for sure. And you've just had Ankalaev and Poatan who have just fought, and Jan Blachowicz has fought both of those guys and had very good success. Meaning, Ankalaev, I think he was a draw with Ankalaev, and then a very close fight with Alex Pereira. So it's just going to be a statement for me to get that win.
A little left field, this Saturday is King in the Ring, and obviously you have history of being a King in the Ring champion and a star of the King in the Ring as well. And of course, here at UFC on Sky, we support our grassroots. I just wanted to maybe get a message from you for these middleweights that will be taking part this Saturday about, using this platform and what it can really do to you or for you to prepare you for a potential UFC career.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to be watching from here. So we've got a big team here who is very excited to watch the King in the Ring. So a lot of the guys that go into into the King in the Ring, they'll come out with a bit more confidence and belief that they're able to go up into the bigger world and continue their success like they've done in the King in the Ring.
Well, look, Carlos, all the very best for this weekend. We'll obviously be watching. Our alarms will be set early. I think the main card starts at 9 a.m., but we'll be tuning in probably with a cup of coffee.
Nice. All right. Thank you.
Joining us now on UFC on Sky for the very first time is the former light heavyweight champion, Jan Blachowicz. Welcome to the show, Jan. I botched it tonight.
That was good, pretty good. I like it.
We will get there. We will get there for sure. Look, Jan, welcome to the show. We're based down here in New Zealand, and I know you have a quality fan base down there who have watched you through your UFC career, especially when you were, holding that title and claiming dominance, and now you're back with full force, fourth seed, coming up against Carlos Ulberg. How does it feel to be back competing again?
It's amazing feeling, because long break, almost 2 years, I didn't fight, and I didn't expect that I'm going to miss it so much for this feeling, for everything what's happened here in London right now, the fight week, I see the fighters, everybody watching each other, it's like, I miss this feeling, this emotion, this pressure. It's like, I'm addicted. And finally, after 2 years, I'm back and I'm happy, excited, because it is my lifestyle, I love to do it. I don't have to do it. I can quit right now and I've got, things to do. But I love to do. I love fighting. I love this style. When I in the camp, when I do my preparation, I love this kind of life, and that's why I'm doing that still.
What's the main reason that you wanted to come back? I know, 42 years old now, so you can be looking at, decisions to make for the rest of your life. Not a lot of fighters make it that far in their careers. So what keeps you coming back?
I hear this that I have 42 years many times in this week.
I'm sure you have.
Because I want to do it. Answer is simple. I just want to do. I love to do it. I still feel it. I still feel good. I still feel fire. I don't do this, 2 surgeries because my break was because I have 2 surgeries, left shoulder and right shoulder. I don't do the surgeries to not go inside to the octagon. That's why I did it. And I want to do it. I want to feel one more time. I want to feel how hard Carlos will punch, how hard I can punch him. So this is our life, this is our lifestyle, and we love to do it. That's why.
I love that. I love that for you. And I kind of thought in my mind that is what you would say, but it is what it is. 11 years is a very long time. Within that time, you've become a father. There's a lot of things that have happened within those years of you being a fighter and reaching the top of the top, especially, of course, in the light heavyweight division. So coming back to the UFC after this time off, why was a fight with Carlos Ulberg? Why did that fight make sense for you?
First of all, I choose the place and the time was perfect for me to coming back. London is very close to Poland, so just 2 hours fly, no change time zone, so no jet lag. So it's good for me. And Carlos is a great fighter, young fighter, after 7 wins in the row. So it's like a challenge for me, another motivation to go there and make a good fight. And I just want to be someone who will stop him in his win strike. So it's like extra motivation for me, and I'm happy. He's and when I see his fight against Ozdemir, I knew that he gonna be my next opponent. I just knew that.
Rather than, these, round 1 KOs, he was a bit more patient in that fight with Ozdemir, showing, a little bit of growth or something like that. And you, in the top 5, the first one to face him, we see Jamal Hill fighting quite often, Alex Pereira, Yuri Prohaska, but you'd be the first in the top 5 to face Carlos Ulberg. So your thoughts on the new blood coming through in the light heavyweight division?
Yeah, I've got like a mission, have like a private mission to show young kids how old men can fight, Old school MMA. This is my and that's it, I'm just happy, because he is, new blood, young blood. So it's, I also have some questions and he gonna give me the answer in Saturday. And I'm just...
Absolutely. I'm not asking if this is a question for you, but is this your run back to the title?
I hope so. I focus only about Saturday right now, but I believe that I win the fight. And after this, I don't see different option for me, only title fight.
Speaking of titles, of course, we watched Magomed Ankalaev get the better of Alex Pereira. Your thoughts on that fight, and did it go the way you thought it would?
When they announced the fight, I think the Pereira gonna win. in maybe not easy way, but he gonna defend the belt. But when fight was closer and closer, I a little bit started changing when I see what's happening in social media in the both of these fighters, and I'm not surprised that Ankalaev make his win against Pereira.
Because you've obviously faced both of them, so you know what comes when facing either of them, and we of course know that Ankalaev fight was not the result that you would have wanted. It was quite disappointing considering how much was on the line when that fight was taking place. So, is that something that you want to run back with Ankalaev?
We've got unfinished business with Ankalaev. I fought with him, we've got draft, so we need to, finish this story. So maybe in future, we will see.
Nice.
We'll see.
In
But
this camp?
we need to finish this story.
Yes, absolutely. Talk about your preparations for this camp. Coming back in the mix, being in camp again. Did it feel good? Are there things that perhaps you've learnt about yourself coming back from, some time off and getting ready for a fight again?
Yeah, I learned a lot of myself. I'm much stronger mentally right now after these 2 surgeries and after this whole way when I come back to the healthy, and I'm just stronger mentally. So the camp was great. We make great. I have great sparring partners similar to Carlos, so I think I'm gonna be ready for him, for everything. And, I'm just happy. I'm healthy. I don't feel pain, so it's the most important thing. That I'm 100% ready for this fight.
Yes, and of course, there's a lot of comparisons made. You fought Israel Adesanya in 2021, obviously the same coaching team that is bringing Carlos to London as well. So your thoughts on that? It's kind of a rematch of sorts with City Kickboxing.
I don't think about this fight like this. It's Carlos is completely different fighter and person than Israel. So I need to be ready for different movement, different power. But of course, maybe they're gonna have similar game plan. But we will see. I'm ready for everything. I'm ready for everything, and I will be happy that I can, beat another guy from from his team.
You're hurting my heart. You're hurting my heart.
But I have to do my job.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this, level of the competition, that's the way it has to be, obviously. But I know that he's, definitely taking this fight very seriously. He went to London a lot earlier to acclimatise. He's not used to this environment, whereas I think you landed in London not too long ago. So your thoughts on that? It's more familiar for you. Even the stage is a bit more familiar for you with these big types of fights.
Yeah, finally someone come here to Europe to fight against me. Always I'm going somewhere and I have to, used to the climate, change time zone, long fly. So now for me was the trip was very easy. I just come here, yesterday, 2 hours flight, same time zone, just 1 hour different. Climate is the same. So that's why I choose this place.
Very clever, very clever. No, nice one, Jan. Look, thank you so much for your time.
I take very serious, Carlos. But my mission is stop him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the styles you both bring, I don't think the fans would be expecting anything less as well. But thank you so much for your time. We can't wait to see you back in action in the octagon at UFC London. Although we're back in the boy from New Zealand, you're always a fan favourite as well. So all the very best come our Sunday morning.
Okay, Sunday morning. Okay, thank you.
Kia ora, gentlemen, and all the very best for this weekend. Obviously, Dan, before we leave this topic of Carlos Ulberg versus Jan Blachowicz, how do you see this fight going down? I'm not going to ask you who you think you...
Carlos Ulberg, no.
Because it's quite obvious who you think is going to take this fight, but how do you think this goes down?
Yeah, I'm excited because Carlos is going to have to show us something he hasn't shown us before. He's going to have to show us he's been fighting the other guys he's kind of been fighting. He's been able to play his game and kind of just lay back, set the traps, and these guys he's fighting are dumb enough to run into them. But I don't feel like Jan is on that same level. I think he's a tier above the guys that Carlos Ulberg's been fighting. And I feel like Carlos is going to have to show us a few new tricks and a few new dance moves. I feel like he's going to have to be add a little more flavour. He's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. And in this matchup than he has like kind of being patient and defensive, because Jan is patient and defensive as well. So I feel like Carlos is going to have to show us something a bit more, because I feel like he takes a little bit too long to get offensive. Then obviously Jan will just start thinking about wrestling and grabbing a hold of him and edging close rounds with control time against the cage and takedowns. So I feel like Carlos Ulberg's going to have to really let him know from the opening bell that he's here, and he's here to take Jan's spot.
How much does the occasion play into this situation? Obviously, Jan Blachowicz has been here at these big fights, main events, co-main events before. Carlos Ulberg, not in this, type of setting. They're at the O2, one of the homes of sport over there in, the UK in general, let alone in London. So how much of that side of things comes into play?
Yeah, I just feel like Carlos has been around it for so long. Before he even had a pro MMA fight, Carlos has been around huge names of the sport. Like, he come up with Mark Hunt's crew. Before he was over at City Kickboxing, he came up and he was like training partner with Mark Hunt. And as we know, Mark Hunt used to drag all those boys around. The Tougher brothers, Tai Tuivasa, Carlos Ulberg were in his fight team. He was taken to these big shows and big events at a very young age, and then obviously Carlos made the transition to City Kickboxing, and then it's been the same since. Then you're part of Israel Adesanya title fights and huge cards like this. So I highly doubt that the moment is going to be overshadowing Carlos Ulberg. He's just going to have to show us something else, I feel.
Nice. Well, whānau, tuning in for that. The main card starts at 9 a.m, so get your teapots boiling or a cup of coffee going, because you're going to need it. 9 a.m.
Oh, I can
Look,
do
we're
that.
back. We're back.
I can do that.
It's not so bad this one. The Macau one was a bit.
I heard 6 and I was.
The prelims.
Yeah.
Prelims main card. Yeah.
I'll make the main. All right.
He'll wake up for the main event. It's all good. Look, another exciting event that is going down this week. Of course, here at UFC on Sky, we support our grassroots MMA and combat sport. King of the Ring goes down this Saturday at Event Finder Stadium on the North Shore. Obviously, Dan Hooker, a little something about that. So talk to us about King in the Ring and what this card provides in terms of these elite athletes looking to aspire for greatness.
Yeah, obviously, I've said time and time again, I've got it kind of on repeat. It's like King of the Ring, 8-man, and we've all been there. Myself, Blood Diamond, Carlos Ulberg's a multiple champion, Navajo, Sterling, Israel Adesanya. Like, this is really the opportunity to break through and make your name a household name in New Zealand combat sports. And this weekend, especially this middleweight division, I looked through, and of the 8 contenders, I really couldn't pick a favorite. Even splitting, I know how they split the pools into favorites and then the other side. I really don't know how they're going to split this. This is probably take out probably. This is the most tightly competitive King of the Ring I've ever seen. There's probably, I look through and there's probably 7 of 8 guys that I feel genuinely could win this contest. I feel like this is a very close King of the Ring, and as we know, close fights make for exciting battles.
Absolutely, Dan. And something else that you always say too is, if you're not going to be tuning in, buy your tickets, get down there in person and support our fighters and these local events. This ensures their survival so they can keep putting on these cards in the future. And one of those 8 prospects, I had the pleasure of talking to Dion Wilson, who was hunting for King in the Ring glory. Joining us now and who will be participating in the King in the Ring this Saturday night is Dion Wilson. Kia ora e hoa, welcome to the show.
Kia ora. Thank you for having me.
Hey, look, Dion, your first visit with us at UFC on Sky, and we are big, supporters of grassroots MMA, combat sport, anything of the like that's going on, especially here in Aotearoa. And of course, King in the Ring is one of those competitions that, dates back, and we've seen some of the best come through this competition. So start by talking to us about your preparation and perhaps your story with King in the Ring so far.
It's been good. Training has been really good. Training with House of Pain and Ethan Shep and the team down there. This camp's been really good because we just had our News Very fight show last weekend, and I think there were 7 of our team fighting on there, so it was good to have the whole team with me on camp, pretty much all grinding it out together. And it always helps when people are on the same kaupapa as you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point that you bring up about having, I mean, you can have sparring partners and things like that, but if you're kind of preparing for a fight, it's much different, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so what kind of competition are you getting in your gym? How good are the boys down there?
Yeah, everyone's leveling up every day. Like, we've got some killers down there too. Obviously, we have Michael, who's just won the King of the Ring as well. We've got Alexi, who's won it a few times. We've got Ethan, who's trained many world champs, and all the boys that are coming up now in our gym. It's a very high level skill. So, yeah, we've got a good team down there.
Yeah, there seems to be a little surge of Waikato fighters coming through at the moment. You know, for a long time, it's been, you know, Auckland dominating or, you know, getting spots on these cards. So what are your thoughts around the talent that's coming through Waikato at the moment?
Yeah, there's heaps. Like, there's obviously our gym, House of Pain, and then we've got our neighbours, like 5 minutes down the road, we've got TMT, and they've got a good reputation as well. A lot of great fighters coming out of there too, and it's just cool to give us a bit of recognition in New Zealand. It's not just Auckland dominated now, and we're all coming up now too.
And as I mentioned, you competed on King in the Ring before. We saw you in the final last year against Titus Proctor, obviously. So, you know, what was that experience like, and how much of an advantage is it now that you have felt the experience of King in the Ring?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Like, it's obviously everyone's dream really coming up in the fighting game in New Zealand to fight on King of the Ring. And being able to go through the whole 3 fights, making it to the final, it gives me a bit of an advantage going into it because I know what I'm getting myself in for. It's not unfamiliar territory to me. And yeah, I'm just ready to go, ready to get back in there. Grateful for Jason and Anna for giving me the opportunity again as well on such close time between the King of the Rings too.
Well, you must have done something right, mate, if they picked you up for another one.
I think so.
It's a great sign. It's a great sign. Look, as I mentioned, you know, King of the Ring's been around for donkey years and, you know, a lot of attention on the King of the Ring. Was there anyone that you were looking up to, you know, before you had the opportunity to be on the card?
Yeah, always Izzy. Izzy's always been my guy that I've kind of been looking up to. Watching him fight on King of the Ring and just the way that he just dominated everyone. It just makes you want to fight like that. Inspired to be like that as well. So
nice. And he kind of had this way about not making it look easy, but he just was so cool about it, eh? Like it wasn't no big thing. Get to the 3rd fight, still full of energy and things like that. Talk to us about what it is like, though, to be fighting 3 fights in one night.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like hard, but then it's almost like a blur as well, because you like fight the first fight and then you go back to the corner or back to the changing room, and you're getting ready for the next fight, and you don't think about the last fight because you're just getting ready for the next one, and then it's time to go again, and then you win that one, and then you go back, and then it's time to get ready for the final again. So it's really just staying locked in for every fight as they come in, because you can't worry about the last fight, what happened in that fight. You just have to worry about what's happening in the next fight, and you always have to worry about the fight that's coming up too, because that's the only one that matters out of them all.
Yeah, and the fact that you don't know who you're going to be facing next. So how much, you know, in terms of preparing, you're really preparing for yourself, right? And what you're bringing to the table as opposed to what you're going to get back, because you don't quite know.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of like how I like to approach my fights anyways. Like, it's good to have an idea of what your opponent's going to do, but you can never base their last fight or their last few fights of how they're going to fight, because every fight's different. And I like to just focus on myself and just to get myself ready. And as long as I'm 100%, then I know that I'm going to give it my all.
Nice. And, you know, what are your dreams, aspirations in the sport? We know it's not the easiest sport to do, but King of the Ring is absolutely the right platform to be on if you're wanting to take this thing further.
Yeah, I want to be a world champ. I want to be one of the best in New Zealand as well. I really want to just cement my name amongst the best and, yeah, just prove that to myself and to everyone else that I'm everything that I say that I am.
Nice one, bro. Well, thank you so much for your time. Can't wait to see you and everyone else in action at King of the Ring this Saturday night. All the very best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Stefano, don't miss that. King of the Ring this weekend. And of course, our very own New Zealand light heavyweight Carlos Ulberg will be in action against Jan Blachowicz on this card, Edwards versus Brady at UFC Fight Night. Dan Hooker, thank you for joining me and your insights as always.
As always.
Whānau, we will be back next week, breaking this card down for sure. We'll see you there. Hei kōna mai.